There's something that didn't get enough attention last week, so I thought I'd bring it up again today. And that's to discuss the fact that we do not protect the sanctity of enslavers' musical instruments. Seriously, though. Lizzo, who's an extraordinarily talented woman and flautist, was given the opportunity by the Library of Congress to play some flutes that have basically been in storage and never been played for, in some cases, hundreds of years. And one of these was the famous crystal flute of hideous human being and once president of the United States, James Madison, who owned and tortured other human beings, including one who was his son. Of course, the right lost its mind and thought it was some kind of desecration that this woman would be allowed to play a flute that was given as a gift to one of the worst people ever to serve as president. Oh, by the way, he's the guy who was responsible for the 3/5 clause in the Constitution. So fuck James Madison and go Lizzo. You totally rock. There seems to be a competition on the right in terms of its Senate candidates to be worse than they were the day before. We've got a serious competition going on between Mehmet Oz, a Republican from New Jersey, who for some reason is running for Senate in Pennsylvania, Herschel Walker, who is running for Senate in Georgia against the eminently qualified and excellent Senator Raphael Warnock, and, of course, J.D. Vance running for Senate in Ohio. We've learned that Walker paid a woman to have an abortion, and his son just revealed that he's so violent that Christian, his son, and his mother had to move 6 times to escape from Walker's violence. J.D. Vance is saying that there should be absolutely no exceptions for rape, incest, or to protect the lives of the mother when it comes to a woman's right to exercise her ability to get health care in the form of abortion. But I think there's something special, even though he's not running for Senate, he's running for governor, something special about the ways in which Ron DeSantis or Hades is awful. Not only has he been kidnapping migrants and moving them to cities where they have no prospects, nobody knows they're coming, so there's nothing waiting for them to help them. But he's also responsible for a disastrous response to Hurricane Ian. He didn't evacuate people in time, so many more people probably died than would have otherwise. And, maybe worst of all, the guy actually wore white waders after Labor Day. I mean, what the fuck, Florida? Do better. We've arrived at the point in campaign season where Republicans, who have absolutely nothing to offer the American people other than cruelty, tax cuts for rich people, and, well, nothing else, no policies. They have started trotting out law and order and immigration. 2 things about which they've done nothing, but used as a cudgel against Democrats. In this case, though, it's hitting differently. Law and order? So we're supposed to vote for Republicans because they are so pro law and order. This is the same party that supports the big lie in an effort to let Donald steal the 2020 presidential election. This is the party who failed to convict the twice impeached Donald Trump, who committed serious acts against his own country. The party who supports the insurrection now, and who has as its standard bearer a man who stole 11,000 documents, which, by the way, is 200,000 pieces of paper, many of which were top secret, highly classified, highly sensitive documents that could seriously impact America's national security and put in danger actual human beings. So the next time you hear a Republican politician running on law and order, please laugh loudly. Elon Musk and Twitter have just announced that they've reached a deal. Musk is going to buy Twitter for, I think, something like $440 billion. It isn't a done deal yet. These things take time. But I just want to say very quickly, don't leave Twitter. Democrats need to stop ceding ground to the worst people on the planet. Okay? Stay there, keep tweeting, keep people informed, and don't give an inch to people who would have this country devolve into fascists, especially idiots like Elon Musk who don't know anything about anything. I think this is probably the most succinct way of helping us understand who Republicans are. Florida just suffered a very serious natural disaster in the form of a Category 5 Hurricane Ian. We don't know yet how many people died. We do not yet know how many billions of dollars in property damage there are. We do know this, however. In a vote to determine whether or not the federal government should provide Florida with aid, financial aid, Marco Rubio, one of their senators, didn't bother to show up. Rick Scott, the other Republican senator, voted no, as did every single one of the 5 Republican congresspeople. So I'm going to ask anybody in Florida who votes for Republicans, what the fuck exactly are you voting for? Recently, Mitch McConnell did something to get under Donald's increasingly thin skin. And as a result, Donald truthed something quite dangerous. First, he said that Mitch McConnell had a death wish, which you can imagine how his more fanatical followers would hear that. And he also referred to Mitch McConnell's wife, Elaine Chao, in the most racist terms imaginable at a time when anti-Asian violence in this country is through the roof, largely because of Donald and the rhetoric he used during COVID. So there's a question being asked, why won't Mitch McConnell stand up for his wife? Why didn't Ted Cruz stand up for his wife? And there are 2 things I want to say about that. First of all, in the case of Elaine Chao, this is a woman who was a member of Donald's cabinet. She was a transportation secretary. She's a woman with a lot of power. She understands how this game is played. She's perfectly capable of standing up for herself and decrying the racism that could absolutely lead to violence against other Asian Americans. I mean, she resigned on January 6th, so allegedly there is a line she's not willing to cross. But the other problem with that question is that it starts from the assumption that despicable people like Ted Cruz and Mitch McConnell are capable of any kind of basic human decency. We need to stop giving them the benefit of the doubt because, let's face it, the only reason Donald is allowed to say these things is because they keep empowering him. So, I don't think it's cool to make death threats against anybody, and the racism is entirely unacceptable. But let's face it, this is absolutely the world Ted Cruz, Mitch McConnell, and people like them have made. I just wanted to acknowledge the death of Loretta Lynn. She died today at the age of 90, and thank her for her extraordinary life and her extraordinary music. It was an absolute gift to be alive at the same time as she was. So thanks.